What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a good day. I've mentioned before a few times before about a new world order. We're against the old new world order that was presented by the Rothschild type dynasty, the Queen Elizabeth, etc., etc. The old guard presenting a new world order, a new world order. But there was a takeover, a shifting of the powers to be, and everything. And I'm trying to present to you guys the kind of proof about it and everything like that, and I think I've done so. I've got several articles I've created and everything like that, again, with the help of artificial intelligence, pinpointing my ideas, and created some articles here. And I'm going to read to you the first one and maybe the second one too. There's 4 articles in this altogether, so it depends on how this goes out, but I will go ahead and get you up to speed where we're at, what I'm talking about, and how I've seen this. This period of time covers from 1982 till the present time. And we'll start looking at the neoliberal turn and globalization. It was a period of time between 1982 and the year 2000. This period has witnessed the implementation of the neoliberal policies characterized by deregulation, privatization, and fiscal conservatism. These policies, while fostering economic growth in some sectors, contributed to rising income inequality. The globalization driven by advancements in communications and transportation and technologies led to an increased international trade and capital flows. The rise of multinational corporations and the integration of emerging economies, particularly China, significantly reshaped the global economic landscape. Again, guys, artificial intelligence helped me this, so it's not my words, but it's my ideas. The information technology revolution, the dot-com boom, fueled rapid economic expansion, but also created speculative bubbles. 2000 to 2009, this is a very tumultuous period at one time in the economics, and y'all remember. The global financial crisis. The dot-com burst exposed vulnerabilities in the financial system. The 2008 financial crisis, triggered by the collapse of the subprime mortgage market, revealed the systematic risks associated with financial deregulation and excessive leverage. Policy responses, including fiscal stimulus and quantitative easing, mitigated the immediate impact of the crisis, but also led to increased public debt. Remember that all that bailouts and everything, it basically just put it back on the consumer and the taxpayer. In 2010 to 2000 present, technological disruption and geopolitical shifts. The post-crisis era has been marked by slow economic growth, persistent income inequalities, and the rise of populist movements. We the people type things. The people speaking out, getting louder and louder, and getting stronger and stronger against the powers that be as we recognize them as. Rapid technological advancements, particularly in artificial intelligence and automation, are transforming labor markets and creating new economic opportunities and challenges. The COVID-19 pandemic caused massive economic disruptions and highlighted the frailty of the global supply chains. You couldn't get anything. Everything was shut down. You couldn't go anywhere or anything else like that. Rising geopolitical tensions and the increasing national debt of many countries add another layer of economic uncertainty. Guys, there's been a lot of talk about the falling out of the dollar, as I mentioned before in several videos and everything. And this is all part of that whole system right here. The inflation of the early 2020s has caused central banks to raise interest rates and created the possibility of a global recession. Projections for the next 50 years is 2023 forward to 2073, next 50 years. Technological transformation and future of work. Advanced AI, robotics, and biochemistry will continue to disrupt labor markets. It will continue to disrupt the markets, leading to job displacement and the need for workforce reskilling. Everybody's going to learn how to do something different. The rise of the gig economy and remote work will reshape the traditional employment models. If you don't know what gig work is, it's where you go and do a job, one-time job, and you're paid for that duration of that one-time job, whether it's 1 day or a week or a month. But it's a short-term job. It's called a gig. You can find these things in what is it called? Craigslist under employment gig listings if you want short-term employment. Policy interventions such as universal basic income and robust social safety nets may be necessary to address the challenges of technological unemployment. Climate change and sustainable development. The economic cost of climate change will become increasingly significant, requiring a rapid transformation to sustainable energy systems. This is the ideas that the whole world leaders are working on, guys. This right here. Green technologies, carbon pricing mechanisms will play a crucial role in mitigating climate change. Resource scarcity will increase the cost of raw materials and force change in manufacturing. This is a preview of what's coming, guys. The demographic shifts and global economic power. Aging populations and declining birth rates will strain social welfare systems and create labor shortages in many developed economies. This is about the birth rate of developed countries. If you fall below 1.6, that society, that population is bound to diminish to extinction. That's a fact. Ours is at like 1.57, 58. It's bad. Increased urbanization will require large infrastructure investments. The future of economic governance and financial systems. New economic paradigms, such as stakeholder capitalism and alternative monetary systems, may emerge to address the challenges of inequality and sustainability. Digital currencies and blockchain technology could transform the financial systems. Cyber warfare could have a massive economic effect. The increased political polarization will make it harder to enact effective economic policy. And here's the conclusion and policy recommendations done by AI. This is not my recommendations, it is their conclusion. The global economy faces significant challenges in the coming decades, including technological disruption, climate change, and demographic shifts. Policy interventions are needed to mitigate the negative impacts of these trends and promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth. Key policy recommendations include investing in education and workforce retraining to prepare the future of work, for the future of work, implementing carbon pricing and investing in green technologies to address climate change, strengthening social safety nets and exploring alternative economic models to address inequality, promoting international cooperation to address global economic challenges, creating international cybersecurity treaties. Further research is needed to explore the complex interactions between these trends and to develop effective policy responses. This provides a framework for understanding the economic dynamics of the past 4 decades and for anticipating the challenges and opportunities for the next 50 years. It emphasizes the need for proactive policy intervention to ensure a more equitable and sustainable future. And it's telling us we need to make some major changes, guys, and not only into what we use and how we use things, but in how we govern ourselves and who those who govern us and everything in the economic shift. I went ahead and produced another article, guys. I know this might be a little bit lengthy, but I'm tying this in together to the new world order, which is being run by the financial institutions, investment corporations, instead of the old black Jacob Rothschild and Queen Elizabeth and now all the European dynasty that used to be there. It is now turning into another Rothschild-style dynasty going on. February 2026 is seeing massive collision between the big three, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, and traditional institutions, including the church, and the Rothschilds. It's mostly on the church, guys. Let me just read here just a second. The corporate chaplain strategy, church capture. BlackRock isn't just investing in the church, they're effectively managing its future. BlackRock manages specific funds like the Catholic Charities Growth and Income Fund. While these funds claim to exclude sin stocks, alcohol, tobacco, and gambling, they replace them with environmental, social, and governance mandates. You can argue that the church has traded its moral authority for financial sustainability. By letting BlackRock manage these pensions and endowments, religious institutions must now comply with stakeholder capitalism, a secular replacement for the Ten Commandments. World Economic Forum, intern co-chair connection. In a massive move for 2026, BlackRock's CEO Larry Fink has been acting as co-chair for the World Economic Forum annual meeting. The mainstream narrative is public-private partnerships are necessary to solve global crisis. This is the ultimate shadow government merge. When the person who manages 10 trillion is also writing the global script in Davos, the line between private business and world governance disappears. You can call this the unholy trinity of finance, tech, and globalization. The stewardship shift is a shift. The stewardship shift. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not a reader too well. As of January 2026, BlackRock and Vanguard have split their stewardship teams into two distinct groups. The mainstream narrative, this is stuff you hear about, the stuff they let us know about. They are doing this to be neutral and focus solely on financial value to avoid political backlash. This is the deceptive tactic. By splitting the teams, they are creating a front-facing group that looks conservative to avoid lawsuits from red states, while the other team continues to force behaviors, as Larry Fink famously put it, behind the scenes. A major story this month in the executive order on guaranteeing fair banking, signed late 2025, early 26, to stop politicized debanking. The financial organizations are pushing back, claiming reputation risk allows them to drop clients who don't align with modern values. Their point of view. This is the introduction of the Western social credit system. We've heard about this, guys, a lot of it. If you can't buy gasoline or pay your church mortgage because BlackRock-owned bank deems you a reputational risk, the transaction is complete. You lose your mortgage, you lose your loan, you lose your ability to get money out of the bank. The bank is the new priest. How financial overreach is replacing confession booths and the ESG score. As of 2026, the intersection of BlackRock and the church is no longer a theory. It is a line item in their financial reports. The Catholic Charities, the Trojan horse. BlackRock currently manages BlackRock Catholic Charities Growth and Income Fund. While the fund claims to follow Catholic values, the reality is a shift towards transition investing. In 2026, BlackRock officially moved from ESG to transition, which allows them to stay in the driver's seat of an energy policy while still focusing companies to comply with globalist climate mandates. They're kind of the dark side of the thing. They are effectively using the church's massive capital to fund green energy, essentially turning ties into carbon credits. Didn't know this, guys. There was a big connection here with the church and BlackRock as well as everything else, but this is really big. All churches, not just the Catholic Church, but all churches. So is this your Sunday morning offering being used to fund Larry Fink vision of carbon neutral world? In 2026, Larry Fink took on the role of the interim co-chair of the World Economic Forum. At Davos 2026, Fink spoke of disarming challenge on how business leaders must effectuate the change from technology. When the man who manages the church's endowments is also the co-chair of the World Economic Forum, the separation of church, state, and finance is gone. This is the financial deep state in its final form. The CEO of the world's largest asset manager is now co-chair of Davos. He also runs the Church Finance Fund, which basically runs the church. He isn't just managing money, he's managing the global script for the next decade. One other thing I want to add in here right now, that the CEO, Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink, and the entire managing staff is Jewish. All right, just put it out there. It used to be a Catholic-run organization under the old world order. The new world order is not run that way. It is becoming, as I had mentioned before, this is going to be the United States of Israel for too much longer. And you're seeing it now. A major February 2026 story about is the fallout from President Trump guaranteeing fair banking executive order. This order was designed to stop politicized debanking of religious and conservative groups. Despite the order, organizations like BlackRock are still accused of philanthropic filtering. I don't say talk word. They have been flagged for excluding religious charities from employee match programs. If they are deemed to incite hatred, label often used for traditional religious views. The banks are fighting back against executive order by using the reputation risk as a loophole. If you have a bad reputation, well, then you can't buy gas. You can't go to the grocery store, and you can't keep a loan. If a church's view doesn't align with Davos 2026 inclusive narrative, the bank can still freeze them out. Just like I said, guys, they can freeze it out. Also, in the early 2026, a new trend emerged, and this is AI-driven spiritual leadership. The global organizations are pushing for AI to reshape spiritual authority to minimize polarization. This is the alternative tool for the deep state, BlackRock deep state. If you can replace a human pastor with an AI trained on globalist ethics, this is called ESG transition values, you can effectively control the moral compass of the masses. If you limit their choices, you can predict the outcome. They couldn't change the Bible, so they're replacing the preacher with an algorithm. And that's the first two articles, guys, right there about this. I got another two articles. Both of them are somewhat lengthy, but we'll get to them in another video. But I'm presenting to you guys that we are running into a new world order, a new world order, a new organization. The rules have changed, and the leaders have changed. It isn't the old globalists from the Rothschild and Elizabeth and all that European ancestry. This has shifted towards Israel and the Middle East. Like I said before, we are seeing the start and the beginnings of the United States of Israel. Hope you'll have a groovy day, and as always, be nice to somebody today. It might be the last time you get to. All right, just do something nice, people. Later, taters.
Attention passengers, We've now reached our destination. We hope you enjoyed the flight and have a nice day.